Hey guys, continuing to look at 10.5 at the homework on 10.5. And this one is actually number 40. All right, so this is number 40 on 10.5 and has to do with area here, an area of a triangle, and finding then the height of that triangle. All right, so if we look at this thing, first thing we have to realize, or first thing we have to remember, is how do you find the area of a triangle? And that is base times height divided by 2, all right? Or 1/2 base times height. So the area of this triangle, forget about this for right now, the area of this triangle is base x plus 6 times height times 1/2. And then they tell us what that answer should be. We should get an answer of 108 here, all right? So there's the equation that I want to solve. Base times height times 1/2 should give me 108, all right? So if I, now x times 1/2, I can actually rewrite that just a little bit better because multiplication is commutative, so I can just make that 1/2 x. And now I want to distribute, all right? 1/2 x times x would be 1/2 x squared, and then 1/2 x times 6 would be 3x, and it still equals 108. Okay. Now again, I apologize for not covering these in the notes, but again, that's why we have these videos going out to you. But if you have any questions on this, don't hesitate to let me know. One of the things I neglected to mention in the notes was you can't complete the square if this is anything other than 1. All right, so right now that's a 1/2. I need to get that to 1. How can I do that? Well, I could divide by 1/2. But another way to look at that is I could just double it, all right? Because if I take 1/2 times 2, that's 1. And that's okay as long as I do it to everything, all right? So now if I do that, that is going to give me my 1x squared, and now that'll be 6x, and that will be 216. Now I'm ready to complete the square, all right? Again, that process is you look at your b term, the coefficient of your x, take half of that, which is 3, square it, which is 9. That's what I'm going to add to both sides, all right? So I get 1x squared plus 6x plus 9. And I also want to add 9 over here because, again, whatever I do to one side, I got to do to the other. And 216 plus 9 is 225. Now I'm ready to factor this thing. Again, I have made this a perfect square. We have completed the square here, and this is x plus 3 squared. Factors of 9 that add up to 6, 3 and 3. We've made it a perfect square, all right? Equals 225. And so now I can use my square root. So I do the square root of both sides, and I get x plus 3. And now the square root of 225 is 15. So I get 15. Or remember, it could be negative 15. Anytime you solve an equation by taking the square root of both sides, you have to look at not only because there's two different numbers squared that could give you 225. This could be 15 or this could be negative 15, and both of those would make the equation true. So now I got to solve these. So I subtract 3 on both sides. So here I get x equals 12. And here I subtract 3 on both sides, and I get x equals negative 18. All right, which are two good solutions to the equation. But as we've done before, we got to look back. Does that answer our question? Well, x here is the height of a triangle. All right. A triangle can't have a height of negative 18. So we didn't mess up. We didn't do anything wrong. That's a solution to that equation, but it doesn't make sense for this solution. All right. So this height is 12, which means the base of this thing, 12 plus 6, that base must be 18. All right. And again, I can check it. Base times height divided by 2. If you do 18 times 12 and then divided by 2, you do get 108. All right. Okay. So again, this was number 40 on 10.5. Understanding a couple things here. You had to understand how to find the area of a triangle. And then again, this idea of this coefficient of x squared having to be 1. It has to be 1 in order for completing the square to work, and then being able to recognize, hey, wait a minute, we've got a negative solution. That doesn't make sense in this situation. All right, so I hope that helps. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Take care.